What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchets REACT, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction. Super excited about this video. If you're new to us
And we're new to you,
make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell
because we're on the road to 200K.
And we cannot get there without you guys, alright? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Taboos included in this lesson might not be taboos just for Canada and could also be considered taboo in many other places as well, but I tried to include things that are specifically taboo in Canada, things that you should avoid saying or doing when in my country. The first thing is, when you are talking with someone, there are certain topics that are best to avoid, things that you shouldn't talk about with people unless they are very, very close friends or family. These topics include things such as sex, religion, politics, and money. Those are topics that in general you don't usually talk about with people who you are not close to because it can easily cause arguments. However, as a Canadian, there's another thing that I would like to add to this list of taboo conversation topics.
First of all, I like all the Canadian gear she got working on right here.
The red and white.
The flag in the back, the flag on the on the stamps for every time a new one comes up, the colors on it, the flag in her hair. She got the flag in her hair, y'all. She's a real supporter. Right here. She got the Canadian flag in her hair. She's a real Canadian.
Wow. I didn't even
She's
see
not
that.
playing.
She's representing.
Right.
And that is the fact that Canadians absolutely hate being compared to Americans. Please, when you are speaking with Canadians, do not compare Canada to the United States. Do not compare Canadians to Americans. That is something that the majority of Canadians absolutely hate. Also, very taboo, Canada does not have Eskimos, and we also do not have Indians. These two words are actually very offensive and shouldn't be used. Instead, there are other good words that we can use to discuss these Aboriginal groups of people. The most common expression that we would use is First Nations people because they were here first. When you meet somebody for the first time in Canada, it's very common to shake hands with that person. If someone reaches out to shake your hand and you don't shake their hand in return, it is considered extremely rude. Also, when
that was my phone. That's interesting, because what if like a person is like a real germaphobe like me, and I don't like shaking people's hand? I'll hug them before I shake their hand.
I think when a woman like that, they just like they give the thick tips. Like, let me see your hand. They be like,
"Oh, okay."
Like, how you doing?
And I try not to be rude, but I'm like a germaphobe for real.
No, I feel that.
Not shake a random person.
That's really not much of a one. Like that things that you guys can do when you're like that. For us, we can fist bump. We can do head nods. You know what I'm saying? Like bump shoulders. Like we got those little gestures. But for women, it's all about class. Just about presentation.
Yeah. Ooh, that's gonna be a tricky one. What else could you do if you didn't shake hands? And I know a lot of people not huggers, but I'm from the South, and we love to hug. So. Yeah. And y'all may say, well, that's even closer than shaking hands.
Basically, though.
Yeah, but I use my hands, you know.
For everything.
Yeah, and the hug is a side hug. It's not a embrace. It's a side
Put out that Germex after.
Okay. I don't want to seem rude, you know?
Right. I got it. I got you.
When you first meet people, common questions such as, oh, what do you do, and things like that are appropriate. However, from my experience in different Asian countries, there is one specific question that you should not ask people in Canada, but that is very common in Asian countries that people will ask each other when they first meet. And that question is about your age. Asking somebody how old they are is considered extremely rude in Canada. If you're talking to a child, maybe it's fine because the child might be excited. I'm 10 years old.
Right.
But once you become an adult like me, I find it rude if you ask me how old I am. That's not a good question.
Isn't it like that for women out here, though?
I was going to say that, yeah.
Talk about it.
I mean, for me, it's not really... I'm okay with it. Maybe I'm not. Because generally, I'm like, what you need to know my age? Because I feel like people would, you know, I don't know, like judge you for your age.
And
maybe?
when you say judge, it's about how they view you.
Yeah, like you're too young to be a wife and a mom. Like,
You're too you know what I'm saying?
Old to not do this or something like that.
Right. It's like they try to order, like with age involved, they place you in a bracket.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
They
try to little boy you or they try to big brother you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think it's just with women out here though. It's like you don't ask no woman her age, bro. Like you don't want her to first of all feel old. Mm-hmm. Right? And you just want to respect whatever level she's trying to introduce herself on. Like, because some people hold themselves to a certain, and you don't want to be like, oh, you dress too old, but you don't dress your age, or, you know.
Right. Because I'm a person who's very accomplished in a lot of things, you know, for my age, but it's like people here, they consider us old.
Surprisingly.
People on YouTube, like a lot of YouTubers consider our age group to be old, and I'm like...
Yeah. I don't feel it. Trust me, don't feel it at all.
I'm not old, baby. I'm seasoned. Wisdom.
Lord. Hey, when you get a certain age and you start using these terms, you're going to know your age bracket. Because, Lord, jeez.
When meeting people in Canada. Another thing which I feel is common in most countries, but not all, is that when you are talking to someone, it is polite to make eye contact with them. Please look them in the eyes. I find it uncomfortable if I'm talking to someone and they look away or look at their shoes, look at their hands, look down. I find that a little bit odd, and some people might even find it rude. Really? So when you're talking to someone in Canada, it is polite to make eye contact with that person. I want to talk about a couple of gestures that are considered.
You can read a lot about a person just from eye conversations.
Yes. Okay. Oh, that's a lot of taboos she have. Okay, so that's interesting because you see, like now I'm looking up, and I started doing that after I had my second son. It's how I think. Like I stare off, and I know they have some people who say if you're looking this way, you're telling the truth. You're looking this way, you're telling a lie. But I visualize a lot of things that I'm thinking, so it's like, yeah. So that's good to know that would be considered rude because I can like be self-conscious of myself and say, you know, just look at the person while you're talking to them. And some people are intimidated by that.
They are.
Yeah.
They start to stutter. They start to fumble their words. They can't think straight. Especially if you're like a beautiful woman. Oh. And you try to talk. You trying to get your words out. I'm going to just go ahead and talk to you like this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's how it be. So, yeah, you definitely start fumbling with your words a lot.
Considered rude in Canada. As with most countries, showing somebody the middle finger or giving them the finger is rude. So if I go like this, that is a very rude symbol in Canada, and you should definitely avoid doing that. Another important gesture that you should do, however, is if you yawn. Maybe you are tired, you can't control yawning. If you yawn, is very rude. You should cover your mouth when you yawn, and if there's people here, you should also kind of turn away from them. Yawning towards someone is considered very rude, so please turn away and cover your mouth. Speaking of covering your mouth, if you sneeze...
Oh, that's the worst.
Please sneeze into your elbow.
Oh, man, that's the worst, man.
But being around other cultures, I have learned that's not universal.
No, it's not.
To sneeze into your arm.
It is not.
They just sneeze.
No, they be talking and be like, yes, I should. But like I said, I should.
And it's my face.
And I'd be like, bro.
Why would you do that?
Like, how can you basically spitting in their face, bro? Like,
that's one good thing. I'm glad we were taught. Sneezing your elbow, cause
all they do is shirt. They go like.
That's just nice. So
you got your shirt, boom, boom. You got your elbow, boom, boom. You got your hand, boom. What else? What does it do? They go like this.
And they wipe their hands on their shirt. Ugh.
Yeah, it's not going to go that way. It's not going to go well for you.
Also,
that's the one.
In Canada, when you sneeze, to be polite, you should say, excuse me. Same as if you accidentally fart or burp or cough. after you've done this bodily function, it is polite to say, excuse me, or, oh, sorry, excuse me. If you don't say that, people might consider you a little bit rude. Also, if you are near somebody and they sneeze, it is polite to say, bless you. For example, oh, excuse me, bless you. Oh, thank you. In terms of gestures connected to table etiquette, it is considered very rude to put your elbows on the table when you are eating dinner or eating any meal. Don't put your elbows on the table. Also, common sense, I think, but when you are eating, don't talk with food in your mouth and don't chew with your mouth open. Another gesture which can be considered rude is pointing directly at someone. If you point at someone, it can be seen as rude. So if you want to gesture towards someone that way, the best thing to do is gesture like this with your palm up towards the person like this.
Y'all know how many false, how can I put it? Like how many, I don't know if they was doing it purposely, but I had a lot of false arguments. Meaning it wasn't supposed to happen. Like, I would see two gentlemen talking at a distance. I'm the only person standing here. Why are they pointing over here? And I would surely take my little happy butt over there and walk. And I'd be like, yo, everything out, I seen y'all point my direction. Is that something y'all need me to know about? Y'all want to ask me something? It's like, we wasn't pointing at you. But I really feel the energy. But I feel the energy, bro. It's like, I know I don't be tripping. Like, when I see them pointing, especially in the workspace. Oh, bro, what y'all pointing over here for?
Dion is just quick to check people. See, y'all be thinking it really be me, but he don't play.
All right, I know. I like to paint myself as innocent. I'm the good one.
It's cool.
I'm cool.
Yes. So, how are you versus how are you? Canadians are known for being polite. Some Canadians consider this a stereotype, but compared to some other places where I've traveled, I do feel that there is a certain level of politeness and common courtesy in Canada. For example, saying please and thank you and sorry is very much appreciated and is often heard more in Canada than it is in other English-speaking countries. One very interesting thing about sorry is if there are two people walking and this person bangs into the other person, they will actually both say sorry. So in Canadian English, what a lot of Canadians do is they use sorry as a way to apologize to someone. But sometimes sorry can also be used as a way of indicating to the other person that they have done something that you want them to apologize for.
Yeah.
So when someone bangs into me, I say sorry and they also say sorry. In Canada, people sometimes swear and use offensive language, but they generally do that with close friends or people who are close to them. In Canada, it is considered very rude and a big taboo to swear in front of people who you don't know. Swearing in front of a stranger, big no. Swearing in front of a child is a huge taboo. Just you don't use offensive language in front of children. In fact, on Canadian TV, on every TV channel, what will happen if there is a swear word is that either the swear word will be censored, it'll be beeped out, or at the beginning of the program, there will actually be a warning.
Right.
And the warning usually says something like, this program contains coarse language. Viewer discretion is advised. Which basically means there's swearing in this program, so if there's children, now's the time to get them to leave the room or turn off the TV. In Canada, it is considered rude to talk loudly on your phone when you are riding public transportation. I have heard many people do it in Toronto specifically, but in smaller towns, not as much. So generally, if you are riding public transportation, you can text someone or talk quietly. Sorry, I'm on the bus, I have to call you back. That's okay, but yeah, so what are you doing tonight? On a crowded bus with many other passengers, we don't need to hear your conversation, and it is considered rude for you to be speaking loudly in general, and especially rude for you to be speaking loudly on a cell phone in that situation. In Canada, if you eat in a restaurant, there are a couple of things you need to be careful of that can also be seen as taboo. When you have finished your meal and you are getting ready to pay, please remember to leave the server a tip. Tipping is important in Canadian culture to show the waiter or waitress that you enjoy.
To show the waiter or waitress that you enjoyed it. We get it. Listen, when it comes to tipping, I just got to say this one thing. We are like a tithing type of family. And we love to give back, not just to the church, but to the body of the church.
Yes.
And, but the only thing about our tipping culture in the Demouchet household is that my wife got a heavy wrist. And she loves to write long, lovely notes.
I do.
So I'll be like, babe,
I like that.
how you feeling today? And you'd be like, I'm good. I'm about to tip though. You give me a pen. I'll be like, babe.
I'll
be like, babe,
pen.
calm down. And you'd be like, what's how you feeling today? And I'm like, yo, it's she has a happy hand when it comes to tipping, and she loves to leave like beautiful notes to the whoever was serving us that day, and just give them like kind words. And she always done that since we've been together. I just love that.
You never know what the people are going through. You know, you never know what kind of customers they have had.
True.
And they may need you to just cheer them up. Now, if they was bad, they ain't getting no note or tip. For real.
Enjoyed their service. You don't have to tip if you're just getting like a $2 coffee at Tim Hortons, but when you're actually in a sit-down restaurant and someone has been serving you, please give them a tip. Generally, somewhere between 15 to 20% is considered normal. You should also turn your phone off if you are in a place such as a restaurant or a classroom or a theater. Places like that, people will consider it extraordinarily rude if your cell phone starts ringing and disrupting them from their activities. If someone invites you to their house for dinner, there are 3 really appropriate gifts that you can bring as a gesture to say, thank you for having me for dinner. You could bring flowers, you could bring wine, or you could bring them something like a box of chocolates or something small like that. Those are appropriate gifts, and they're called hostess gifts. So if someone invites you for dinner, please bring something to the dinner with you, something small like that. Flowers and wine are usually the best choices. Speaking of being invited to someone's house, if you are invited to their house for dinner, then you should show up on time or a little tiny bit late, but no more than 15 minutes late for dinner, because that is considered rude. However, if someone invites you to their house for dinner and you show up early, that's also considered rude, because maybe the host isn't ready for you yet. Maybe they haven't finished preparing things. However, if you're invited to someone's house for a party...
This is my issue with it. I want to get there early to help you, you know, and so that I can leave early. So we come early.
Okay. We do come early.
We do.
I didn't know that we'd be going early.
We be there. We be the first people there.
Oh, Lord. I thought we'd be on time.
No, we be early.
Because on time is like 15 minutes.
Because I was taught if you early, you on time. If you on time, you're a little bit late. If you late, you're late. So we go early.
I think whoever house we're going to going to be a party night anyway.
That's on them because we leaving early.
So, yeah.
That's my excuse. That's why I go early.
Okay.
Yeah. He don't be knowing.
Party. And there's many people coming, and it's a more casual, laid-back situation. You still definitely shouldn't come early, but being a little bit later, even a little bit more than 15 minutes late, is generally considered acceptable. If you are going to someone's house for dinner or for a party, if you're going into someone's house for any reason, there's something we do in Canada that most people in other countries do as well, which is to take off your shoes when you enter someone's house. When you visit someone's house, please make sure you take off your shoes before entering. If you butt in front of someone in the line, that's very slang, butt in front of someone, meaning to push your way into the line, budge your way in, or jump the queue, as my British friends would say. That is extraordinarily rude. You need to find the end of the line and wait your turn in the line. Follow signs. If a sign tells you to do something, do it. If it says no smoking, don't smoke. If it says give this seat up for elderly or pregnant people,
a sign?
Move and give that chair to someone. Don't continue sitting there when there's an elderly man standing. If a sign says, please keep your dog on a leash, keep your dog on the leash. Please follow the signs, be polite, and you shouldn't have to worry too much about life in Canada and thinking about too many taboos. I think the majority of taboos and things that I talked about for this video that many people really wanted to see, the majority of things that
I believe that's the wrap. That's the rest of the vid. So yeah, it's pretty cool, pretty simple. I feel like we have a lot of things that we can relate to, like just a lot, bro.
Yeah, a lot.
I didn't see many that was like off the radar, like yo, I ain't never thought about that.
Right.
Like everything was pretty simple.
Yeah, everything we've heard of or we do. So it wasn't too much different.
Not at all.
Although y'all don't like to be compared to us.
Yeah.
So we hope you guys enjoyed this video with us. Like this video, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell. We have enabled our super thanks if you like to support the channel that way, as well as our reaction request form is in our description box below. We'll see you soon.
Peace.